Oh wait, let me take my glasses off. I feel goofy with my glasses on. I am Elliot Darling, aka Jiggy Boy Ellie, and we're in my hometown, Harlow, about 20 minutes from Tottenham. And I am a photographer, music video producer, professional swag lord, automobile enjoyer, cat lover, all of the above. And I love documenting the underground rap scene.
Which came first, fashion, the cars, the videography, or the photos, and in what order exactly?
Good question. I think the fashion came first. I wanted to be a fashion designer when I was in secondary school. I studied textiles, and it wasn't shortly afterwards I left school and started studying photography, and that's where I started taking photography seriously. Yeah, then the videography came shortly after. I always wanted a VHS camcorder because of Bones.
Nose down, riding around in your side of town. Tray full of that blunt ash, got a trunk stuffed with them fucking pounds.
All of Bones' music videos, they were sick. I love the grain, I love how raw they were. And but I never knew what kind of camcorder he shot on. I think I found a mini DV camcorder in one of a pawn shop once, Cash and Gold place, and then bought that, and it was kind of what I wanted. And then I found the Sony Handycam, and then from there I just started doing the music videos. Yeah, and then after that it was the cars. I've always been into cars since I was a kid. Same with the photography. It's only in the past few years that I've got my money up, so now I can actually buy the cars in real life. All the cars that I've been dreaming over since I was a kid, all the cars I've been playing on Need for Speed and seeing in Fast and Furious. Now I can afford to buy them and live my fantasy.
I think it was around 2018 you got to hang out with the ASAP mob and you helped film a music video for them for the old DVD Volume 2.
Yeah.
How the fuck did that come up?
Oh mate, it was actually 2017, October. It was ASAP Rocky's birthday. I was 16 and I was in sixth form. I saw that they was doing an org pop-up shop in London, and ASAP Nast had posted it, I think. I thought, oh shit, I need to go to this, because I was an ASAP Mob stan. I was obsessed. That was my biggest idols. Yeah, so I skipped I bunked my last period of sixth form to go to it, and I was wearing, it was a Guess ASAP Rocky shirt with a striped long sleeve underneath it, corduroys, the Trap Lord Adidas collab shoes, the ASAP Fergs shoes, and a furry Kangol bucket hat, which was my mum's. I went there and I was having a sick time, meeting all of them, and then this guy came up to me. He was Dexter Navy. He's I think it's creative director of Org with Camille Abbas. Shout out them guys. He said, "Oh, we want you in the music video." I was like, "What music video?" And he was like, "Oh, after we shut the pop-up shop, we're shooting a video for Walk on Water." I was like, "No way." So my friend went home and I stayed. Yeah, and then it was literally just me and the whole of the ASAP mob. Rocky, Ferg, Nast, 12E, Ant, Bloo, and Org as well, and hot girls, and it was lit, mate. It was like a dream come true. Any 16-year-old's dream, meeting your idols and doing that. And then yeah, they just wanted me to be in the music video. He said, "We just think you look cool," because I had all my ASAP gear on, but I styled it sick as well. I had my I look for today's time, I look goofy, but in 2017, bro, it was sick. Yeah, that was for Org DVD Volume 2, which came out, I think, a few months later.
Did you have to keep that under wraps then?
Yeah, people were starting to not believe me because it didn't come out for so long. We was meant to actually stage it. It was meant to be me and this hot girl pretending to be boyfriend and girlfriend, and we was meant to walk into the bodega, and that was meant to be the storyline of the music video, and then ASAP Rocky was meant to come up to me and steal my girl. But we could have pulled it off as well, because I went to drama school as a kid. I was a sick actor, we could have pulled it off, but we ended up just improvising instead. That was the creative direction, just to improvise instead. It was lit, and I was only 16. And I always wanted it tatted on me as well, because it's such a significant moment. And yeah, I got it on my arm here. At the end of Org Volume 2, ASAP Rocky writes it on a girl's arse cheek. So I just screenshot it, and then I won some tattoo competition and got a free palm-sized tattoo, so I just gave him the screenshot. I got it tatted on me, so that's a good talking point. But yeah, that was lit. That was probably the best night of my life ever.
Early days of the Swag Lord.
Yeah, oh mate, it was the very beginning, yeah. Now, mate, the amount of attention I got after that in sixth form. So I went to an all-girls sixth form.
What was that like?
Mate, I went to an all-girls school. Like, it was an all-girls school, but the sixth one was mixed. After that, it weren't even funny. Like, I'm not even blowing my own trumpet, but mate, the amount of tension I got, like, I still remember vividly to this moment. I was walking to one of the outhouses. It was like this hut, you know, those little huts you'd get in primary school. It was like that, and it was like the art studio. That's what they called it. And I was walking past, and this like year 7 group of girls was like in the classroom next to me. I was walking past. Someone shouted out, "It's Elliot!" I shit you not, the whole entire class ran to the window like I was some sort of celebrity. It was crazy. I hated sixth form though, but that was a highlight because people thought I was some sort of celebrity after that. It was really funny.
When was ElliotDarling.co.uk started? And what have been some of your favourite photos taken for it?
ElliotDarling.co.uk, I think that was around January 2019, I think. I used to post all of my photography under like a brand name. It's called Particularize. It's a proper mouthful, but OGs remember that. It was kind of like, I was really inspired by org, so all of it just was kind of the same style. And I wanted to, you know, kind of post it under my own name. I wanted it to be more of a name brand because I feel like I've got a cool name. I might as well use it. And I felt like if I went with my brand name, I feel like I didn't have any kind of style to stick to. Like I could just kind of go in whatever direction I want and it would just be my shit. Yeah, I just thought I'd go with that direction. Just the same as Alexander McQueen is called Alexander McQueen. They don't have any style to stick to. It's just what that fashion designer wanted to do. Like, it's the same concept. Been blessed with a really cool surname, not a very common first name as well, so I thought I'd utilise that. And some of my favourite photos, oh mate, after that ASAP Mob shit, that was just as I started studying it as well. That was literally like a month into my course. I hadn't even started taking photography seriously then. Yeah, after that, my mission was to try and photograph all the members of ASAP Mob that I'd met that day. Probably my favourite one was probably ASAP Bloo or ASAP Nast. Ended up catching ASAP Nast again a couple years later. My style had changed completely, but he still recognised me and remembered me. And I took a brilliant portrait of him on my digital camera. Up against just a plain portrait up against a white background, but the lighting was perfect and the shadows were perfect. It was just a perfect, beautiful black and white portrait. And then I caught ASAP Lou a short time after as well and took a sick portrait of him on my film camera. Yeah, that was sick. Because I always loved ASAP Lou. I always just kind of resonated with him. I've taken some photos of some other people like ASAP Taiwai and ASAP Rocky. But yeah, I'm still trying to tick them all off my list. But I think my favourite one has got to be Black Kray. That night was sick. Yeah, I have it. I'll show you in a second. It was in 2019. It was his Goth Money record show with Kane Groceries, Booty Chain. Yeah, I got there mega early because I always try and get to shows about 2 hours early if I'm shooting them, just so I can get barrier, because I didn't always have the baller status to go and get like a press pass. So I'd just go and shoot front row with my film camera. And so I'd always get there early, try and get barrier. And anyway, so I was sitting there on the stairs, like first person. There wasn't even a queue. I was just there like 4 or 5 o'clock, really. It didn't start until 7. And I think one of the organisers was just going in there. And he said, "Oh, are you here for this show?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Do you mind if I take some photos?" Or I think I might have blagged the fact that he was like, "Oh, I think I'm shooting today." Anyway, he let me down there, and then just Black Kray walked in while they was doing all sound checks and that, all the opening acts. And then I was like, obviously had to take my opportunity. It's like, "Yo, what's up?" I dapped him up, and then I was like, "Can I take some photos of you?" And he's like, yeah. I have like a set, I think about 4 or 5 photos of him in just different poses, and they're so iconic. You don't see shit like that. He's such a kind of rare person to come across, and he's such a legend. He's a founder of like the whole entire underground.
That rap movement.
Yeah.
He's hardly in London. He's hardly in the UK as well.
I know. He's only been here like once or twice, I swear. And there's nobody at that show as well. It was a really quiet show, a really small show, and really rare show. And it's just the rarest moment. And I got this portrait of him so close up on my film camera. So it's only 35mm, so I couldn't like. It's not like I was standing far away from him and zoomed in. It was right in his grill. quite literally, like he's got 4 gold teeth as a front. Just got one of him going like, with all his like gold teeth out, and it's the most iconic photo I've ever taken. I love it so much. And I resonate with him because he's like the founder of the underground. He's got his own thing going on and he's a legend. But he also has this really random iconic moment of him being in a music video with Miley Cyrus back in like 2013.
Remember that
Something like,
series was in it as well.
yeah, like, and I resonated with that because I feel the same. I feel like I've got my own shit going on, but I've just got that random iconic moment of me hanging out with the ASAP Mob and being in their music video. And I just thought that was sick. It was just kind of funny. One of Ghostmane, back when he was like in his kind of golden era. That was 2019. It was that like long grey hair, like the Ghostmane that everyone knows. I got a sick photo of him performing. I think the only other ones that I'm really, really loving, like that stand out from the rest, has got to be my like Haunted Mound photos.
You got one at Sematary recently.
Yeah, I love that because it's so eerie and so grainy. I didn't do like any editing to it. I think all I did was like up the contrast, and that was about it. He was just directly in my frame, staring straight down my lens, and such a sick photo.
You're also hanging out with Buckshot afterward as well.
Yeah,
yeah,
I caught Turnabout and Gonaville for a bit before the show, and Hackle, and then afterwards I saw Buckshot. He was cool. He's so chill and humble. He's so cool. We got a cool photo together because he complimented my Savage Squad Records t-shirt, which is cool because we both like, you know, 300. Fredo Santana, Chief Keef, SD, Gino Marley, all of that lot. I'm a proud Haunted Mounder, bro. I think they're the coolest new underground people to come out of scene since, like, I can't even remember. I don't fuck with a load of people at the moment, but them, like, I really resonate with them lot as well because they're into Goth Money, Chief Keef, Glory Boys. All of their inspirations are the same as mine. And you can see and hear all the influence in the music, so I just fell in love with it. All of their True Religion and everything they're about, I think is sick. And the fact that they're like little country boys as well, like I resonate with that as well, because I've always been that kid from the suburbs where everyone else is from the city. And I kind of resonate with that. Just cars and guns and shit, I love all of that. Yeah, I don't care if it's cringe or not, I'll proudly rep for them. I think they're sick. Yeah, they're so original. I mean, they're influenced heavily by other people, but they're like the only original people at the moment, I think.
You're gonna have to take some form of influences as well.
Yeah, you can't just pull it out your ass. You've got, like, even if the influence isn't very bait, there's always influence, whether you can see it or not. They just proudly rep Glory Boys and Goth Money as well, so yeah.
Make it original.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, Sempra, that was a sick photo of him. Like, his portrait I took of him was sick.
Playing tech decks with him after.
Yeah, I love that. Like, same with Fat Nick as well. Me, Fat Nick, Sempra, we all play tech deck together. I just start fucking playing, I start banging them out, they'll take one and then they'll be cracked at it. Like when I was with Fat Nick, I just pulled him out. He's like, whose fingerboard is that? I said, like, play skate with me right now, I'll demolish you. And he ended up demolishing me. He was cracked. He was doing all these like switch heel shit, like nollies. I was like, what the fuck? And then we played table tennis doubles with 2 golf chicks afterwards as well. That was lit. But the photos I took of him, I don't really like too much because it's colour, and I don't really work with colour that much. This one of Nadab is pretty cool. I think that's iconic. It's kind of giving Nirvana, like Kurt Cobain vibes, because he's like smoking a cigarette inside with like the long ass hair. The ones of Bexey, I've got a massive archive of Bexey photos. The first photos I ever took were of Zilakami, and that one is iconic because his eyes are glowing red, and it's really eerie, it's really grainy. So I shot it on it was an APS film camera, so the film is really, really small, and it just makes it more grainy because when you blow it up, it's just a lot more grainy and shit, and it just makes it more eerie. I've got this really, really close-up portrait of Milcavelli that I love. All his tattoos are cool, whether you like him or not, because some people, he's got lots of like weird claims against him. Dripping's so pretty, because I was a massive fan of him when nobody knew him. And when he came over with Brendan Savage, same night Hamner and Cameron got together. Yeah, when he came over with Brendan Savage, I went crazy. I loved it. And he had his like VVS grills, oh mate. And he posed for a photo for me with all his grills out, that was sick. That was also the same night I found out who the Khan was. Shout out Khan, shout out Amal. my DC homies. He's so lit, like Brendan Savage brought him out. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I went home and he has songs with Black Kray, Lil Tracy. And I was like, this guy is lit. His solo stuff is lit. And yeah, no, and then he came back and we chopped it up. We shot a sick video. Go and watch that as well, by the way, because that is so underrated. People slept on that. That's so sick. It's just a full VHS video. Oh, it's so sick. And it's such a lit song as well. Yeah, shout out to Khan. That was the same night I met him as well.
You usually, from at least what Alfie's told me, you usually shoot between film and digital. Like, is there a particular reason why? Do you prefer one over the other?
Yeah, there is a particular reason. Film is very expensive. If you're going to Boots, it's going to cost you at least £7 for a roll of film. And then it would cost you at most like 20 quid to get it developed. And back in the day before I could drive, it would cost me a train journey to go and get it developed as well. So it ends up costing you over 30 quid just to shoot 36 photos. Ends up costing like £1 a photo near enough. So I always try and shoot on digital because I love both. I love the variation of both. I love how crystal clear they can both be. I love how grainy film can be. But yeah, if I can shoot digital, if I can get a press pass, because for the people who don't know, you're not allowed to bring professional cameras into concerts without having a press pass. They'll get confiscated, just like they would with drugs and alcohol and knives and everything.
So you've had to smuggle your camera in too then?
Yeah, that's when I use the film camera. Because you see, if I can get a press pass, I'll use digital, because I can take as many photos as I want for free. But then shooting from the barrier isn't as good sometimes. That's the only downside, because you're too close. If I can't get a press pass, I will use my film camera. And you don't need to smuggle it in either, because my film camera is about that big, it's tiny. But it was rated one of the best point-and-shoot film cameras that was ever made. And my mum just had it in her cupboard. She bought one back in 1997, and she's a hoarder, and she just kept it in the cupboard, and then I ended up having it. And it's brilliant, 'cause it takes the best photos, but it looks nowhere, it's not a professional camera, and it doesn't look professional at all. So it stays under the radar when people search your bags. Yeah, so that's why, because it's expensive. So if I can shoot digital, I will. If not, I'll shoot film, and I'll sometimes get even better photos than I do with digital. I prefer shooting on film. Like, you're shooting blind because it's a concert, so you can't really look through the viewfinder, and you can't view the photo afterwards. So it's really like,
you want to take a gamble?
Yeah, so I might take 36 photos, 2 of them, or maybe only even 1 might be good or usable. So it's a big gamble, but it pays off because some of them look amazing.
Where was the cat photo that's also known, or now known as the Sucker Punch Collective logo taken?
This is a Sucker Punch production.
That was taken in Harlow, in my hometown. Because away from the photography, back in ends, I'm a driver. I'm a self-employed driver. I was out doing my deliveries one day, and I just started seeing cats all the time. So I'd just take photos of cats all day. It kept me sane, because when you're sitting in a van all day, you start going insane, and it was keeping me from going insane, just taking photos of fucking cats and cars. It just ended up being like a little unprofessional photography series on my personal Instagram. Daily meow meow photos and car spotting at work. Yeah, it was just one of my daily meow meow photos. I just went up to this cat to take a photo, and it just fucking hissed at me. It did not like it at all. Yeah, and then a lot of people loved it. I don't know why. You're not the only person. Like, Cameron loved it. My friend Theodore loved it. He was really cool with ASAP. Him and Rocky and Ferg are really close. Yeah, he loved it. He wanted to put it on a t-shirt and shit. The original photo is just like a zoomed out version, but I zoomed it in, and
you've like, on your phone?
Yeah, just on my phone. I just go around taking photos of cats and cars. And I still do now, but only like cars. I do car spotting at work because there's not really any cats in the areas that I go to now, but loads of cool cars. Yeah, it's just on my phone at work.
Damn, so he's just wandering around Harlow then?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, just literally just wandering around housing estates in Harlow is what I do all day. And yeah, if I'm not shooting on the camera, I'm shooting on my phone. I love taking photos wherever it is. And I love taking photos before I even took it seriously. I have done since I was a kid. I've always loved cars and photography, so, and combined both. Like, if I went home and got my 3DS out of my drawer, you'd find photos of old skylines on my 3DS camera. I just love taking photos, and photos of cars on my Nokia Asha when I was a kid.
What was it like organising your own exhibition? The first one you had was September 2020.
It was really fun. It was meant to be in May, I think, and I would have been 18, but we couldn't because of COVID. And I turned 19 in May. We reorganised it for September. And that was a time where you could have like 30 people in a room. But that was the max you could have, and if you had more, you can get a massive fine, like a 10 grand fine, I think. I was young and I felt invincible. I'd just left school. I was continuing with my photography stuff, and yeah, I really wanted to do this exhibition, and the motivation was through the roof. I was just so motivated, and I didn't give a shit what anyone thought. And I just went for it because I saved up a lot of money at my day job at the time. And I thought, I can fund this. I just looked up some spaces in East London to go and exhibit at, and I thought, this is doable. And it's like not going to be too much. It might be like a few days' wages that I spend putting it together. And there's 4 walls in the spot, and I thought, why don't I just do it with someone else? I can take the other wall, another photographer. And I thought, my friend Abby, also known as Shot and Styled, shout out Abby, I love her so much. And she had a lot of followers as well. And I thought, collaboration is key. Like I can put on a show for all of my friends, with my friends, and we can combine our audience as well and get a lot of people down. So me and her split the cost. And yeah, it was just kind of, it's really exciting. I was running about finding frames in charity shops, kind of doing loads of little things like printing and framing and figuring out how I'm going to put it on the wall, getting acts together, getting artists to be able to come and perform, getting DJs in, and it was all mutual. Like all the artists, all my DJ, they're all mutual. We all just wanted to put on a sick show and a sick time for each other. Yeah, just had loads of our friends performing. Our friend Dave VHS.
Dave VHS.
Yeah, he was performing. He's literally a couple of days ago, he just opened for Limp Bizkit now. He's grown a lot, I love him.
So Alfie was backstage with him.
Yeah, I love him. I think he's sick. I'm so glad to see him growing now. Yeah, I'm really proud of him. Yeah, and that was back when he was still growing as well as an artist, but it still had like a lot of recognition back then. We had the space, and then it was just kind of promoting it and just trying to get as many people there and get it out to as many people and get people to post it. And we just went for it, literally just blindly, just blind faith. We had a full packed out venue, and the road was packed out on both sides of the road. We had a complete and utter like crazy turnout that we never expected, and it was lit. We was like, and there's other things that we was thinking of, like how are we going to get the DJ decks there, how are we going to get tables there to put it on, because it was just an empty venue that we rented. We had to do it all ourselves. So we went charity shops to find little chairs and stools. We went shopping around to try and find the cheapest beer, because we offered free beer as a kind of marketing thing. So we found the cheapest beer in Aldi, spent like 40 quid, and it got like 100 bottles for it or something, which is brilliant. Couldn't do that with Cosy Lives nowadays. Yeah, and it was just lit. And so our friend performed, the opening act performed. And as soon as everyone came, the venue was packed inside. And as soon as everyone came out, COVID inspectors pulled up and started sniffing around. And we'd try to be careful, like we'd put up signs saying wear a mask, no more than 30 people, shit. They just had a look around, saw that nobody was inside the building, because we'd literally just come out for a breather 2 minutes ago. We came back in, we all started piling back in for Dage to come on. And then the landlord showed up of the venue. She came in with her little helmet on, with her bike, and she came screaming, said, everyone get out, and she locked off the whole thing. Yeah, it got locked off just after the opening act, just before Dage was going to come on.
Did you end up doing anything else after that, like an after party?
Yeah, I think Alien Head was going to do a performance, and I think they took everyone over to I think Abby took loads of people over to a nearby field. They just done some kind of makeshift like spit and sawdust thing in the field, whilst I stayed back at the exhibition, and just kind of people came in. Like they kept it open, like the landlady let us keep it open to just exhibit the work, but everyone had to get out for the performances. Like they all got locked off. Yeah, I managed to fit everything in my mum's Peugeot 207. and drove it from Harlow to Old Street in London. Like 2 tables, a miniature table, a VHS TV, like fucking 40, 50 frames, printed frames, all the beer, everything, just in a little Peugeot hatchback. I don't know how we done it, but we managed to do it. And then I left my car there overnight and went out partying with one of our friends from LA that came over. Went and slept over at my friend's house. He was DJing. Shout out Midnight 1200, Joey Blaze. I love him. He's my Polish brother. I love him to the day I die. Slept over at his, came back to my car the next morning, and the landlady was standing outside the thing. I just fucking snuck into my car and drove off. Yeah, no, it was lit. We were so like grateful and proud for that. And I debuted my first zine there before I released it online. And
is that the same one you were driving around in that car for, the VHS?
Yeah, yeah. Why am I seen? You won't regret it. Did some marketing for that online release afterwards, which is funny. But some people stole the zines as well. Like 2 people stole them, I think, and it was a compliment. But like, I sign all of my zines. So if there's any zines out there floating about that don't have a signature, I just stole them. It was a compliment to me though. It's my first ever zine. Like, I thought, God, if somebody wants it enough to steal it, I must be doing something right.
You also inspired someone else to do their own exhibition afterward?
Yeah.
A while back?
Yeah, I forgot his name. I think it was Connor, I think his name was. He ended up messaging me saying, you've inspired me to do my own like little exhibition and like concert thing in South London. It was meant to be in East London, but his venue got cancelled, so he moved it to South. Yeah, that was in like, I think November 2021. It's like a year and a bit later, I think. And he said, do you want to show your work here? I was like, yeah, sure, free exposure. And I've still got the prints in the back of my boot now to show you. Yeah, that was all right. It was an all right night, but South London ain't it. I'll never go back there.
Swag Lord influence lives on. How did the opportunity to like come about to work with Bexey for a music video?
That came shortly after.
Done some photos for him in the past too.
Yeah, that came shortly after the exhibition. Well, I'd organised to have a shoot with Rain, Heavy Rain. Shout out Rain. He's lit. He's so humble. He's so lovely. That's my G, Essex boy for life. Yeah, I organised to do a shoot with him, and then he messaged me on the day of the shoot and said, oh, you know this girl, Shara Shots, she's trying to do a shoot as well, do you want to do it together? I was like, yeah, sure. So I knew Shara, shout out Shara. She's been getting really big as well. I'm really proud of her. She's travelling the world, shooting for great people, so I'm proud of her as well. Yeah, and so we met up, went for a shoot, and I just thought I'd bring my camcorder with me just in case as well. Because we was also promoting the zine as well. I had Rain holding up the zine and stuff because he was featured in it, so he was promoting the zine as well. Getting some product shots and whatever. Yeah, so I pulled it out, I pulled out my camcorder, and he was like, oh, me and Bets are shooting a video after this, do you want to come and shoot it with us? I was like, yeah, it's lit. So I went to Bexey's apartment in London, and we had some nice models come out, a model with us, and then me and Rain shot the video together. So it was like half 4K, half like VHS. It was really sick. And then Bexey edited the whole thing afterwards, and that came out afterwards as well, and that was really cool.
Try to smile through the pain, but this shit hurts. While I'm here for the moment, hold you closely, don't worry.
That was like kind of my proper debut music video, because I'd done a couple in the past, but not like for anyone big. Yeah, that video was sick, and that got loads of views. And
was that after the Khan music video as well? Was that before?
No, that was before. Me and Khan shot a video. That was 2021. So the Bexey vid was, I think, also September 2020. It was just after my exhibition. And then the Khan's video was 2022, because I'd just split up with my ex. I remember now. 2022, about March time. So it was very cold outside, but yeah, that video was sick. We were just walking around in East London at 3 in the morning, just me and him. Yeah, that was sick. That was like a full VHS video. It was like, I filmed it, directed it, edited it. It was all me. Yeah, that was my first proper all me video, because before, like, I only kind of like co-shot it with Rain, and then Bexey done all the editing. But this was like me through and through. So that was really sick. When Brendan Savage brought out Khan and I realised who he was and I discovered him, I was just his biggest fan after that. I thought he was sick. So it was sick, like becoming friends and working with someone who you really look up to. So that was sick.
Is there any current projects in the works or anything to look out for?
Yeah, a couple. I'm working on my next zine, so I'm just building up photos for it. Because my first zine sold out completely. I've only got one copy for myself. My second zine, I made like a good 200% profit. I still got quite a few left in the box. After a few days, like people had already bought them and the hype went down. So I just ended up giving them, like, if I go and meet someone to do a video or I'm inspired by someone, or I'll just give them to my friends and stuff. But so I'm working on my third one, I have been ever since. I'd say I'm a good like 3/4 maybe of the way there with the content, and then it would just be designing the actual zine and then thinking of a way to market it again. Funny, clever way or cool way, because that's most important, marketing. People always forget that. They try and bring something out, don't market it in any sort of way or advertise it. I've had this project in the works since 2020 as well. I don't know if I've been working on it for years, called Job Stoppers. I haven't talked about it before. I was just doing a portrait project of people with face tattoos. It's just something I started in lockdown because I couldn't go and shoot any concerts because they was all cancelled. I started shooting that and reaching out to people, meeting up one-on-one when you could only meet up with one person in lockdown. Yeah, that was sick. I got a lot of sick photos for that, but it kind of died down when concerts started coming back. So I haven't shot much content for it since 2020. But I really want to bring that out at some point. And yeah, I think me and Khan are going to do another video again soon because he's back. He was back the other day. I was at the show with him, it was sick. I recorded it. I recorded his set.
Was that when Cameron and Alfie were there as well?
Yeah, they was there as well. That was lit. That night was so fun. It was out all night. We went to this rave afterwards as well, and it got rowdy. After we had that show, me and Khan was going to meet up later in the week and do a video, but then work fucked me over, and I fell really ill with tonsillitis for like 2 weeks. And then he went to Morocco, and then I thought, oh, fuck, missed my opportunity again. But yeah, no, he's back. He came back here after Morocco, so that's sweet. Yeah, I'm trying to see him soon. I might get him down here back in the suburbs, because he goes out to Romford with heavy rain sometimes. So I thought, come down to Harlow, bro. Or we'll get all the cars out, and we'll go find some of my homies to get their cars out and make a movie, bro. So that'll be fun.
When you said marketing as well, I think you do a very good job of that in a sense, especially with a lot of what everybody else tells me about you. Because the first thing I knew about you was you've got quite an eclectic image, and you got a job title of that on your Instagram profile. It's called full-time swag lord.
Professional swag lord, yeah.
Professional swag lord. What does it mean to be a swag lord?
You're born with it. Just be yourself. Yeah, just be yourself. Do what you like doing. Dress how you want to dress. Don't give a fuck about what anyone else thinks. And if you end up being a swag lord, then it is what it is. You're born with it, but if not, you might just end up looking cringe, bro. No, I'm joking. Yeah, no, I think you have to be born with it. I don't want to blow my own trumpet. It's just like, you know, there's not really any kind of like way to do it. It's just, yeah, it's just like a phrase I came up with, and I think you're born with it. I think I get it from my mum. Like when she was my age, she had, back in the 80s, she worked 2 jobs, she grinded her ass off from nothing. She came from a refugee household, grinded her ass off, bought herself a Golf, and then bought herself a weekend sports car. Back in the 80s as well, so this is when like everything was fucked, and it was like, nobody did shit nowadays like finance your car and just like buy everything on finance. Like if you was showing off in the 80s, you was like proper fucking swag, like, and she used to do that shit, and I get it all from her. Like ASAP Ferg wanted my Kangol hat that my mum let me wear. He came up to me and he asked me for it, and I said, well, do you want to swap it for an org t-shirt, because I really wanted one. Yeah, no, I ended up keeping it. I thought, I can't, it's my mum's. But yeah, and then ASAP Ferg ended up having one in an Instagram post like a year or 2 later. Stole the swag, bro.
You got the inherited swag from the mum then.
Inherited, bro.
Last question. If you could give everyone in the world one piece of advice, what would it be?
That's a brilliant question. I think besides money, and because I was thinking of giving advice on save money and shit and get money, but you've got to want to be able to do that yourself, and if you do, then you will. But I think if I could just give one piece of advice, it's just be a good person, you know, be nice. Treat people how you want to be treated. Like, if you're a nice person, you have good morals and you always stick to them, you'll just never have issues in life. You'll have good karma. What comes around goes around. So if you're a great person and you're always nice and you always do the right thing, good things will come to you and you'll have good luck. You know, people might fuck you over. You might be a nice person, you might be great, and people might fuck you over because they don't have morals. But you've just got to accept it and move on. Just kill him with kindness. That's what Khan is like as well. He's not petty, he kills people with kindness. It's one of his song lyrics. Yeah, just be a nice person and good things will happen.
Thank you very much, Elliot.
Thank you. Wee. Bosh.
She's so soft, hit her with that cold rock.